A suitless hero, campy costumes, and terrible CGI monsters? Not all movies can be super. Let's take a look at some of the superhero movies that actors regret making. Based on the character from the long-running 2000 AD comic series, 1995's Judge Dredd saw Sylvester Stallone put on the iconic helmet, and then take it off, and then leave it off for most of the film. This was a sticking point for fans, as Dredd rarely, if ever, removes his helmet in the comics. Stallone did an okay job in the tight-lipped role, and the film has no shortage of the action and violence that typifies the source material. However, Judge Dredd lacks much of the biting political and social satire from the comics, resulting in a movie that is ultimately just another sci-fi action flick. The tonal inconsistencies of the film were noted by Stallone years later in an interview with Ain't It Cool News, in which he said, "The philosophy of the film was not set in stone. By that I mean, is this going to be a serious drama or with comic overtones like other science fiction films that were successful?" So a lot of pieces just didn't fit smoothly. Some of the design work on it was fantastic, but there was just no communication. There are plenty of other things wrong with Judge Dredd besides its tone, but let's give Stallone some credit for showing some introspection. While 2005's Fantastic Four was no superhero masterpiece, it at least tried to recreate the freewheeling familial spirit of the beloved comics by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. It featured just enough fidelity to the source material to attract fans and turn a profit. Of course, the film's modest box office success led to a sequel, 2007's Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, which failed to live up to its predecessor's creative standards, as low as they were. Both films continue to be the butt of jokes today. It was fun seeing the Silver Surfer on the big screen, but the humor was too campy, the plot too messy, and Galactus too cloudy. Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer is far from a fun watch, and it sounds like it was just as disappointing to make, at least according to Jessica Alba, who played Sue Storm. Alba recounted to Elle magazine a story in which director Tim Story criticized her looks on set, saying, "I was dying in Silver Surfer. The director was like, 'It looks too real, it looks too painful. Can you be prettier when you cry? Don't do that thing with your face. Just make it flat. We can CGI the tears in.'" The experience was so painful for Alba that she even considered quitting acting altogether.
"We will never have normal lives as long as we do what we do."
Ben Affleck was an unusual choice to portray Marvel's Man Without Fear, and much of the film's failure can be attributed to him. It's not that Affleck is a bad actor, but he was badly miscast. His portrayal was so dark and brooding that it was almost as if he was practicing to play another nocturnal superhero. However, Affleck isn't the only problem with the 2003 film. The overuse of shoddy CGI, slow motion, and nu metal make Daredevil seem extremely dated. However, maturity has been kind to Affleck, who looks back on his experience in the film with little love. He took the role of the Caped Crusader in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice to prove that he could make a decent comic book movie. He explained in a Time Talks interview, "I wanted for once to get one of these movies and do it right, to do a good version. I hate Daredevil so much. The Netflix show does really cool stuff. I feel like that was there for us to do with that character, and we never kind of got it right." Idris Elba brings his powerful presence and resonant voice to the role of Heimdall in many Marvel Cinematic Universe films. Monitoring who enters and exits Asgard, Heimdall is the primary protector of the Bifrost. When Asgard is destroyed, he joins Thor and the remaining Asgardians on their journey to Earth. However, their fleet is intercepted by Thanos and his forces, who are searching for the Infinity Stones. Heimdall is ultimately killed in the fight, but commits one last heroic act before he dies, sending Hulk to Earth to warn its heroes about Thanos. We get one more glimpse of Heimdall as he welcomes Jane Foster to Valhalla at the end of Thor: Love and Thunder. While Elba brought a regal might to Heimdall, it seems like transitioning from serious acting to the more fantastical roles of the MCU was not fun. Elba told The Telegraph about his experience moving from playing Nelson Mandela in Mandela, Long Walk to Freedom, to doing Thor: The Dark World, saying, "I'm actually falling down from a spaceship, and in between takes I was stuck there, fake hair stuck onto my head with glue, this helmet, and I'm thinking, 24 hours ago, I was Mandela. Then there I was, in this stupid harness with this wig and this sword and these contact lenses. It ripped my heart out."
We are all angry. I am angry!
Released in 2010, Jonah Hex has gone down in cinematic history as one of the worst superhero movies ever made. It's a mystery, considering how many talented people worked on it, as its cast includes Josh Brolin, John Malkovich, Michael Fassbender, Will Arnett, Michael Shannon, and Megan Fox. Somehow, the result is a messy, confusing, and cliched film that not even a strong cast could make watchable. DC and Warner Brothers would likely have fans forget the movie exists, but luckily the film is so forgettable that it did the job itself. While Brolin seemed to have a good time making Jonah Hex, he has some regrets about the film. In a 2016 Nerdist podcast, Brolin actually claimed that he hated it, saying, "The experience of making it, that would have been a better movie based on what we did, as opposed to what ended up happening to it. which is going back and reshooting 66 pages in 12 days. Still, Brolin has managed to redeem himself in the eyes of comic book fans for his turns as Thanos and Cable.
It seems like I've been luckier than most in that respect.
When Tim Burton left the Batman franchise, Joel Schumacher took over as director and added more color and humor to the series. However, Schumacher went a little overboard with his gaudy approach to The Dark Knight and ended up taking the franchise back to the campy style of the 1960s TV series. There are many things wrong with the Schumacher's Batman films, one of which was his casting of George Clooney in the title role. Clooney has done some great work, but there's no doubt that he was put to poor use as Batman. Clooney would agree, as he's made his problems with Batman and Robin known over the years. One of the more recent instances of the actor looking back on his time in Batman and Robin with regret is in an interview with The Hollywood Reporter. When asked which film had the biggest impact on his career, Clooney responded, "It's really easy to pick Batman and Robin. That's not a joke. Up until that moment, I was an actor only concerned with finding work. After the failure of that film creatively, I understood that I needed to take control of the films I made, not just the role." Many fans were disappointed with the 2015 reboot of Fantastic Four. Jamie Bell, who played Ben Grimm, isn't exactly proud of the final product either.
How about two guys, a girl, and the thing that nobody wanted?
The actor told the Los Angeles Times, "There were several things on that movie I was clearly not privy to because I'm just an actor, and I just do my stuff on the set. A production begins with the idea to make something that's unique and original and with integrity. I think the film really strived toward those goals. I don't know what happened between the launch of The Voyage and The Arrival. I think we were all bitterly disappointed with that film." Bell was an unusual choice to play the Thing, as the character is known for his gruff, blue-collar demeanor, which doesn't exactly scream Jamie Bell. He's a fine actor, and he did the best he could with the material he was given, but there's no denying that he wasn't the best person to bring the Rocky character to life. Considering how disappointing Fantastic Four is, Bell's Thing is the least of its problems. Spawn had all of the ingredients to become a major hit in 1997. It was based on the popular Image Comics series. It had a talented cast that included Michael Jai White, John Leguizamo, Martin Sheen, and Nicole Williamson. It was also one of the first movies to be based on a prominent black superhero, which broke down all kinds of boundaries. Yet, it's a disappointing superhero film that fails to bring the edgy darkness that characterized the comic books to the big screen, and was undercut by a generic plot and crass humor. It's a diluted movie, especially for fans of the source material, and it has aged terribly, due in no small part to the incredibly dated CGI. This is not a controversial opinion, as it is also shared by the lead actor Michael Jai White. He made his thoughts crystal clear to The Hollywood Reporter, saying, "There is no footage of me ever saying that I liked Spawn. I have never said that I thought that was a good movie." Green Lantern was the long-awaited big screen appearance of the popular DC hero, and to most audiences and critics, it wasn't worth the wait. The film follows brash but talented test pilot Hal Jordan, played by Ryan Reynolds, who was chosen by a glowing green power ring to join the Green Lantern Corps, an intergalactic police force. Hal is imbued with amazing gifts, including flight and the ability to conjure hard-light objects with his imagination. Ryan Reynolds is charming enough in a role that is sorely underdeveloped, and is not helped by a boring, predictable script. It was a script for Green Lantern that Reynolds had the biggest problem with. When Yahoo News asked Reynolds what lesson he learned from the film that he's bringing to Deadpool, he responded with, "Well, the script. When we shot Green Lantern, nobody auditioning for the role was given the opportunity to read the script because the script didn't exist. I'm not complaining about it. It was an opportunity of a lifetime. And if I were to go back and retrace my steps, I would probably do everything the exact same way."
Oh yeah?
It's probably safe to assume that X-Men Origins Wolverine is not most people's favorite X-Men film or even their favorite Wolverine movie. To be fair, the film made a valiant attempt to chronicle Logan's long journey from Canadian roughneck to Black Ops soldier to the clawed mutant we know and love. However, there were too many narrative missteps to allow the audience to truly care about the X-Men's life story. Of course, one of the most disappointing aspects of the film was the way it handled fan-favorite character Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, which included turning the merc with a mouth into a mute for no reason. While Reynolds does a terrific job of bringing the character to the big screen, at least in the scenes in which he's allowed to talk, Fox blew it when it came to giving Deadpool the respect he deserves. Reynolds himself had frustrations with Deadpool's initial introduction, going so far as to tell GQ, "I remember saying, you know, there are more Deadpool fans out there than you realize, and they're not going to be happy with this. I was met with a plausible reason, which was, we don't have enough time to develop a proper Deadpool suit and make him the fully realized version of the comic. So we're going with this." But I was like, then don't do it at all.